Hey, what's up? I'm Channel Pup Fanboy Supervillain, just here with a little filler news video to keep you tied over until the next big video, which is going to be the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 retrospective. Today we're going to be talking all about the brand new Entertainment Weekly article on how Sonic 3 went bigger with Shadow's origin story and 2 Jim Carreys. Everything is pumped up. We've got new images to look at, some promising information about the film, and a little more than just that, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You love Sonic, this is the place to be. And this video was made possible thanks to the support of my patrons. All Patreon supporters get access to ad-free videos that they can download, and more perks, so please do consider supporting me if you can. It helps keep the lights on here at Pup Studios. Without further ado, let's get stuck in. So we got a little over a month to go until the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and the marketing is now pouring in. The Entertainment Weekly article begins with Jeff Fowler reminiscing on his time working for Blur Studios on the cutscenes of Shadow the Hedgehog back in 2005. And once again, I really do respect Jeff Fowler, despite disagreeing with some of his decisions when it's come to the Sonic movies, specifically, obviously, the ugly Sonic design in the first film's trailer, and opting for an all-orchestral music score. Yes, those were his decisions. But he's clearly someone who's very receptive to feedback, very honorable in how he handles that kind of stuff, and he treats these characters with a great deal of reverence, and that is present here at the start of this article as well. This man makes no apologies for Shadow the Hedgehog 2005, stating, "Edginess is maybe not the right word, but there was a new element tonally that suddenly made the Sonic world feel a little bit more exciting and a little bit more dangerous." And he goes on to say, "I think that's exactly what Shadow has done for this film." From the onset, looking at the trailer and listening to this, it definitely seems like Shadow is being treated with a great deal of respect. It's mentioned how Keanu Reeves did a great deal of homework for the role of Shadow. I like to imagine Keanu Reeves at home just playing the crap out of Shadow the Hedgehog 2005 on a Nintendo GameCube, trying to get 326 possible paths. I mean, hey, with what actors get paid, maybe that's not so unreasonable. But there's a lot of conversation about how this film is really going bigger, that everything's been dialed up, and I definitely got that impression from the trailer as well. Jeff Fowler mentions that the effects are a lot more impressive this time, and yeah, we can certainly see that. Ben Schwartz also mentioned how he fully expected Paramount to look for a bigger actor to play Sonic the Hedgehog in these movies, after he voiced lines for the screen test and was chosen by Tim Miller. But he made a great point of saying that the people involved in making these films are listening to the fans, they are fans themselves, and they want to feel as connected as possible to the fans. And here's one area where I do hope that they are listening to the fans. Jeff Fowler does go on to tease a post-credits character reveal for the film, so yeah, once again we're doing the surprise character thing for the post-credits. Now, I was kind of hoping that Sonic 3 would end off in a way that would just mean any of the characters can appear, and that we're just opening those floodgates, but no, it does seem we're doing the one at a time thing still. Which is unfortunate to me, as while Sonic 3 does look to be quite a step up from Sonic 1 and 2, I was kind of hoping that they'd be able to go all in with Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Maybe I'm wrong about that, you know, maybe we still have those implications, but we're just showcasing one of the next characters that we can expect to see in the next movie. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation going around about Amy in Sonic 3, and it looks like realistically she's not going to be in this movie as such, but is absolutely possible for the post-credits, and I think while there's definitely characters that could evoke more of a sense of excitement that could kind of match up with Shadow, you could have maybe Silver the Hedgehog, or another character that has more of a story tied to them, I think Amy Rose is very important at this stage. To me, Team Sonic just isn't complete without that shade of pink. I think she could bring a lot to that dynamic, as proven by all of the games where she is an integral part of Team Sonic, but also just for optics' sake as well. I feel like you really need a girl hedgehog or a girl animal character in there for the little girls in the audience to relate to a little more. And you could say, oh, why can't little girls relate to Sonic and Knuckles and stuff? I say it for the same reason why I say, like, young guys can't necessarily relate to all-girl casts either. At least not in the same way, anyway. It's a nice idea, but that just isn't how the world works. I think 4 entries in, because yes, I am counting the Knuckles TV series, yeah, we are well overdue a female Scrimblow character. And Amy is the most important one of them all. Also, Jeff Fowler has given us a little tease of what we can kind of expect from Shadow's origin story. Mainly, whether or not they're gonna cap that kid. He said that this film is definitely going to deliver on the major beats of Shadow's story, with some of them being a bit more heavy than Sonic's own origin story, didn't spoil anything in particular, but he has mentioned that there is a very emotional core to Shadow's journey, which involves Maria Robotnik. But it sounds to me like we're not going to see a little girl get shot on screen. And that was to be expected, but there's one quote here that I'm definitely kind of reading into as we're not going to see Maria Robotnik get killed, where he says, "We are certainly very respectful about what fans expect to see and what they love about the character. We're also very aware of the times and the right way to handle that kind of imagery in a family film." I think we really ended in a great place. I think fans will watch this film and really appreciate Shadow and Maria. A lot of care and a lot of love has gone into telling Shadow's story and giving fans the best movie version of the character imaginable. What I take from this is that something bad is going to happen to Maria Robotnik, but that you're not going to see her get shot. Now, to be completely fair, you don't see her get shot in Sonic Adventure 2. You don't see her actually get shot on screen in Shadow the Hedgehog. And you don't see her get shot in Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings either. It's implied she's hit off screen. Maybe they can't be as specific about it as they weren't in Dark Beginnings, again, using very metaphorical imagery to convey that. At the same time, I think there's every possibility that maybe Maria will survive. Maybe Shadow will believe that she's dead, but she actually survives, and maybe Shadow gets a happy ending in this one, treating Shadow as kind of more of a one-and-done character, or taking him in a different direction to what Sega did. After all, Gerald Robotnik has clearly survived, and he doesn't carry himself like a man who lost his granddaughter. It will be funny though, kind of seeing the juxtaposition between Sega's Shadow versus movie Shadow, in that we do have an actual video game tie-in effectively with Shadow Generations, which firmly shows Gerald Robotnik being a much more sympathetic character than his grandson, and that Maria Robotnik is very much dead. So if they deviate from this massively in movie 3, it will be quite funny to kind of have that juxtaposition, that contrast between the two. I mean, hey, Black Doom is obviously the main villain of Shadow Generations. I don't think he's going to factor in here. I think Shadow is just the creation of Gerald Robotnik. I'd be amazed if Black Doom was a part of this story. Maybe he's the post-credits character. I just love the idea of Iizuka sitting down though, being like, hey, we're going to make a new Shadow game to support this movie, to really help people get familiar with Shadow ahead of the film. Alright, what shall we do? Black Doom? Yeah, we're going to do that. Let's talk about how Shadow's an alien and give him wings and shit. I'm sure the film could keep up with that, right? Jeff Fowler also talks a bit about Jim Carrey playing a dual role and how it's effectively double the workload from what previous movies are, because he has to shoot every scene twice and one time with a lot of prosthetics on. Sounds like Sonic 3 has definitely learned the right lesson from The Flash. If you want to have two of the same dude, don't deep fake it, just reshoot the scene and composite them in. So from what this interview states, Gerald Robotnik is vital to the conflict of this movie, and that we'll definitely see some kind of shared family traits between Ivo Robotnik and Gerald Robotnik. And yeah, it was apparent from that first trailer that this version of Gerald Robotnik was going to be a lot more like his grandson than his game counterpart, who's a bit more sympathetic but also a complete and utter psycho. And apparently Jim Carrey was more than happy to go along with all of these plans as well, shooting the scenes twice, the prosthetic makeup. Man, I really hope that this isn't his last Sonic movie. Again, you can't really have Sonic without Dr. Robotnik. Jeff Fowler also talks about the Chow Garden in this film as well, saying that it kind of came naturally to the Tokyo setting to have these kind of cute fairy-like creatures in a culture that really does appreciate kind of animated mascots, and that having Sonic and his team kind of reconvene, regroup in a Chow Garden restaurant in Tokyo was a nice way to work the Chow in there without it being just a simple Easter egg. Now, I've said before, it is kind of a shame that we are in such a grounded world that we can't just have Chow as little mystical creatures inhabiting this world, and I don't know what this means for a potential cream and cheese appearance. That being said, I just love looking at the Chow mascot costumes. I think I like that more than I like the idea of CGI Chow. What if they're just real? What if they're not mascots after all? They just kind of look like that. But okay, without just reading out the entire article, that's effectively the spark notes of it. We've also got some brand new images from the film courtesy of Entertainment Weekly. This first one here is Shadow in the rain, looking like a big old grumpus. Now, we've seen a very similar shot to this in that first trailer, but what I find very interesting about this is that you can see people in the background as well, and it's not like he's trying to destroy them or anything, so I'm wondering if his quest to destroy the world is necessarily going to be a part of this movie, or if he's going to be a little bit more low-key with it. But it looks like he's having a moment of introspection. It looks very cool. I really like the cinematography this time around from everything we're seeing. It looks a lot better than the previous entries. This next image here is very interesting to me, because what we've got here is, from left to right, Gerald Robotnik, Shadow the Hedgehog, Ivo Robotnik, and Agent Stone in what looks to be Camden. Also, there appears to be this mist coming out of Robotnik's butt, so I don't know if he's farting or something. That's a joke, I don't actually think he's farting. But what's super interesting here is that I mentioned in a video prior to the release of the first trailer for Sonic 3 that there was a Taluna survey that asked what a team consisting of Ivo Robotnik, Gerald Robotnik, and Shadow would be called, whether it would be called Team Dark or something else. It's amazing what you can learn from a Taluna survey, isn't it? So great, we've got Team Sonic, the total sausage fest, and then we've got Team Robotnik here, which is also a sausage fest with no Rouge the Bat to be found anywhere. It is so weird that this is like a 2024 film, but it is really cool to see this lot here assemble. That being said, we have all talked about that one shot from the Sonic 3 trailer that looks just slightly imbalanced because there's a big blank space at the side of it, like there should be an extra character here. And look at this one here. There's a little blank space in the middle here. It looks a bit more well-framed than the other shot, though, so I don't know. It'd be really weird to just hide all the girl characters in the marketing, though, wouldn't it? That's cope. I'm coping. If they've done that, that's insane, but I don't think they have. But I'm also just speculating a lot of where this takes place in the film, because obviously Sonic will have come to Dr. Robotnik for help by this point, because he hasn't got long, straggly hair, and he is wearing that iconic Dr. Robotnik jacket, which, my god, that thing's seen better days. Love the way it looks, though. This has to be in like the second half of the film, but the fact that Shadow's here with them, does that mean that Dr. Robotnik is going to double-cross Sonic, Tails, and Naka? Of course he is. Of course, just saying that out loud makes me realize how ridiculous I am for even questioning that. Also, just looks like you turned the wrong alley in Camden. We've also got this shot here of the two Robotniks in what appears to be maybe an underground base, or maybe them discovering the space colony arc to get it back up in the sky, but it's all old and overgrown and filthy. We've got this big chamber behind them here. I wonder what that's housing. Doubt it's the Bio-Lizard, but wouldn't that be awesome? Jim Carrey definitely appears to be wearing a bigger fat suit for Gerald than he does Ivo. But damn, these two are dripped the fuck out. I'm jealous. And finally, we've got this image here of Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails all sat by the big Chow, appearing to get their picture taken at the Chow Garden. And look, there's even Chow teapots and little Chow desserts. Frustration with the realism aside, I just can't deny that this is great. Also, that purple Chow on the side there, Knights fans, rejoice. This is the best you're going to get in terms of a cinematic Knights adaptation. I'm really sorry. And Tails is clearly having a lot of fun here. Now, before you guys dip out, there's one more thing I want to talk about here pertaining to Sonic 3's marketing. This theater standee. For starters, it's fucking awesome. Like, just this thing looks sick. We finally have a new render of Sonic on the left here, rather than just reusing one from the first movie. Love the shade of blue he is in this image. Wish he looked more like that in the movies themselves. Tails looks badass as hell. For Knuckles, they've just reused a render from the Knuckles TV series. But I do like his positioning here. He's right next to the number 3. It's like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Front and center is Shadow on his motorcycle, and he just looks absolutely badass. It's the same render from the exclusive poster that they were giving away with Transformers 1 tickets, and you've got Tokyo off in the background. But what's interesting here is rather than just having one Dr. Robotnik overseeing all this, you got two, suggesting that these two, the duo of these two, are going to be kind of the main villains of this movie. And okay, that's great, that's awesome, I'm looking forward to the two Robotniks. Bracing myself that Gerald is going to be very different from the games, but that's okay, these things are going to change elements from the games. As long as they are just as fun, I don't really mind. But here's where things get extra interesting. Look at Dr. Robotnik's outfit. That's not the outfit that he wore in Sonic 2, which was a really cool reinterpretation of the modern Eggman look. But take a close look at this one here. You've got this white stripe going down the back and a zipper going down the arm. Is this what I think it is? Is Robotnik going to get a game-accurate suit for this film? If so, that's very exciting. Already, I mean, I liked the reimagining of his outfit that he had in Sonic 2, but to see them go all in with the classic game look, by which I mean like the classic as in the source material, not as in like classic Robotnik. You get the overall idea. Ooh, that's very exciting. Now, if you have seen any leaks or anything like that and have had anything spoiled, please, please, please refrain from putting it in the comments or telling me about it. I don't really want to know. But right now, I am just very excited to see where this is going, to see how this look is going to look in the actual film, and to see if they're actually going to go all in and give us a fully game-accurate Dr. Robotnik. And if they do, it'd be cool if they gave him his little round shades as well. They don't have to completely obscure his eyes. I understand that Jim Carrey's very expressive face is something you don't want to cover up too much, but if they're translucent enough, I can't imagine it matters. It would just kind of complete the look for me, you know? But okay, that's it for this episode of the Sonic 3 scoop. I don't know, I'm not Tails, I don't have the right to say that. What do you guys think? How are you feeling about how this movie's shaping up? Comment below, discuss, and as always, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, you can watch this video and download it ad-free, take it anywhere with your internet or not, and get your name in the credits of videos just like this one. A special shout out goes to the patrons in the $5 and above tier. They are Silver, Josh Strider, Grant Allen, Twilord, Coco210, Nigel Thrashner, Hey It's Classy, Ian, Cho Henshin, KB, RT0, Cal-X, Hypes, Sad Goku, Dare Denny, SSS06, Kale Bennett, the guy who asked for 2D and 3D games, Ken K, Mr. SP, Cyrus the Skeptic, Biotin, Did You Know This Entire Video Was AI Generated, and Vera Wild. Thank you, good folks, so much for your generosity, and to all of you at home, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Now get out of here, little scamp.